So this is going to be a brief and informal presentation on our take on the military form with the Dadao. During World War II, the average Japanese soldier was about 5'4" tall. The Type 38 rifle that they carried was 50 inches and had a 20-inch bayonet. So we're looking at nearly 6 feet when this is all put together. So it's very convenient then if you're practicing to use a staff to practice with if your school uses the 6-foot staff. Come on over, Jim. The form is oriented primarily, go ahead and set up. The form is oriented primarily, you'll need to be a little further back. No, your hand needs to leave room for the butts for the stock. The form is oriented going toward this side of the weapon. And the reason why was this side was fraught with problems and complications that you could do, but if you had your choice, the person wielding the Dadao would always come to this side because you're closing off those other weapons, potential weapons. And so the form is primarily manipulations of what happens in this contact. There are a couple of other things that happen too, but this is where the form orients, and we'll go over those in just a moment. So there are techniques for this side, but as I said, they're considered much more complicated, and they didn't teach them to the soldiers in a form. Instead, what they did was they showed them applications of the same techniques to the opposite side, and then went over what the complications were. So anyway, we'll get started. Thank you. Okay. The form as is presented in the video that Mr. Chen has done is correct. The posture comes to attention, what they call the right turn, where you come back and hold the sword up in this fashion, and then the first posture here before the cut and the first strike are all accurate. This stomp is very important because it sets the soldier. It's supposed to be setting his spirit and his intent. The first movement of the form is this. You will notice how Jim comes forward. If you would advance and thrust, please. Notice how he brings the back foot up to the front and then steps out and thrusts. When he thrusts, this is locked in here underneath the arm, being held against the ribs. The arms twist and push in to effect the thrust. And this is how the Japanese army actually did the thrust, and the basic thrust with the rifle bayonet. So back again. If I were in the ready posture, he would come in that fashion, and I would meet and be cutting down toward the hands like that. That would be the first motion of the form. Now, as you do in the form, we also back off from that whenever he's done, and then he will thrust again to the other side over here. But you see how he brings his feet up, and that will help. When he retreats, you'll see he cross steps out, and then when he comes back in again for the next thrust, there's that same motion again. So we'll work on this. We'll be back and go over the second one.